Welcome back, folks. This is Tommy, Help with Gadgets, and we're going to do a disassembly and cleaning of the Vosteed Porcupine. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is a top liner lock. So we'll go from the show side here. T8 for the body screws, which is pretty cool. I'm actually liking that. Well, I said we're going from the show side, but then the clips from this side, so I guess it doesn't matter. And we'll just go ahead and take these out too. No big deal. Alright, theoretically, it should come apart. Of course, we've got that lanyard tube there, so that might be holding things up a little bit, but it feels like it should work loose without a terrible amount of problem. Alright, so there we have it. I'm actually going to pop, well, yeah, I'll pop some screws back in there on that side, pull those in. Okay, let's go ahead and get the bearings out. Get those in alcohol. Same for the pivot there and the pivot screw. Get that all dropped in there. Let's get a couple of, or not a couple, let's get some cotton swabs and wipe everything down. Nice coated blade on this. And we'll take a cotton tip applicator to it as well here in a bit. Here's that top liner lock, and you can see how that pushes that detent bar or the lock bar out of the way with the detent ball on it. Pretty simple application and works really well. Alright, got everything wiped down here. Alright, let's go ahead and get a cotton tip applicator out here and get down here in this area where the pivot goes. We pull the collar out with that other one. And let's also get into the opening there for the pivot and then clean out. Make sure there's nothing in those. Pretty clean though. Hasn't been used a terrible amount. Alright, and let's go ahead and get everything out of the alcohol. Get that drying off. Let's see here. Got our bearings. Get those cleaned off. And same thing for that pivot. We're actually going to take and pinch that pivot between forefinger and thumb and just back out through those threads. Check and make sure I don't have any kind of debris or anything. Actually, take that off and get in there a little bit better. And I have something here. I'm just going to take and scrape that off. Likely just some Loctite there, but we don't want that in there. Let's clean it off and take a look at it again. I don't like anything on the pivot there because that can help, or it can prevent the surfaces from, well, it's not clean, so it's not making, it's not being the best surface for putting things together. In this case, it may not have hurt anything, but I'd rather get it out of the way. It looks like I got just a little bit more. Yeah, it definitely looks like Loctite. Or some other debris there. Nonetheless, we want it gone. And a little bit more. There we go. I think that's got it. Of course, I've said that a couple of times now, haven't I? Alright, got it. I think I actually got it that time. Alright. Let's go ahead and wipe down this color here and start getting everything back together. Alright, nope, not yet. Still got that pivot over there in the alcohol. And we need to clean that up. Alright. Now we're going to pop that in. Let's go with the bearing, and I like to put the open side of the bearing into wherever the cutout for the bearing is. In this case, it's in the blade. So we're going to drop in a couple of drops of oil on either side of the pivot. We're going to drop in the blade, the other bearing, a couple of more dots of oil, not a whole lot. I'm going to actually put a little bit there on that detent ball and put everything back together. At least that's the goal. Alright, we're going to get some blue Loctite here on that pivot screw. Tighten this up, and not too much, but in this case we're not back together quite yet, so let's see if we can get it to everything to fall in place. I'll tighten the pivot and see if it'll pop it in. Nope, loosen the pivot up. Alright, remove the pivot. Not getting a good, and I have a feeling it's because of that lanyard tube, but we don't want to put everything in a bind. More than it already is. Let me see if I can get my handy dandy. There we go. Pop that. Let's get the, try to get everything pushed down. There we go. There we go. Now I think we're cooking with gas, as they say. That looks good. Let's go ahead and pop in those body screws. And then we'll check the other side to make sure those stay tight. And then let's check the knife itself. I'm actually going to back off just a little bit. Well, I'm going to get back off just a hair. Probably going to have to tighten it back up. Yep, we introduced some blade play there. Just a little bit tightened back up. Actually going to loosen. Well, I've got some blade centerness issues now, so I'm actually going to back off this. Looks like the centered is centered now. All right, so then I'm going to tighten this back down, checking these on this other side again, and that's why, because those were loose. All right. Alrighty, there's the Vosteed Porcupine. And hope you've enjoyed the disassembly and cleaning. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the Porcupine, and I'll plan on doing a review of that soon. I'm not the hugest fan of it, just to let you know, and mainly the part is the access to this reverse flicking thumb hole. It just never quite got it. Thumb works awesomely. The reverse flick works, but we'll get into that on the review. Appreciate you watching. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you again soon, and thanks for watching.